Lance Brogden, good morning.
Good day, how are you?
Fine. The economic crisis is affecting this sector, the airplane sector. Is the crisis that hard? Is it as hard as we feel?
Indeed, I think it's probably the toughest in the history of aviation. In modern history, we've seen nothing like it. Last year, the commercial aviation sector lost 10.5 billion US dollars, and this year we're projecting a loss of 9 billion US dollars. They are material numbers. 20 odd billion in 2 years is massive, and yeah, it's a very tough time, and it's the first time in modern history in aviation this challenge has arisen to this degree. So there's no off-the-shelf fix or answer for it.
In a recent interview, you said that for airplane companies in Africa and in the Indian Ocean, they have one main problem, that is access to finance. Why do you say so?
I think that's very, very important. Of all industries in the world, if you take all industry sectors, whether it be motor, mining, ownership can be spread throughout the world. So a motor car industry in Japan can own shares in an American company. Aviation is very difficult. It's very restricted. So for free access to international funds, you obviously want to allow ownership rules to change. So IATA is working on that globally to see how we can actually support and advise governments to liberalize their thinking. So it's important, and it's not about bailing companies out, it's about injecting capital, economies of scale, foreign investment with foreign skills, and aviation is the only industry in the world where that is not allowed at this junction.
Okay, and you say that you're against bailout for airplane
Yes.
companies.
Yeah, IATA as a rule is against bailing out, but depending on the circumstance and the environment, it's important that countries have particular aviation models that work. Now, if you can have a look here, the government has not bailed Air Mauritius out with 1 cent. It's very honourable, but they have to support it because Air Mauritius is one of the hearts of this economy. You know, we are very remote here, we are far removed, so it's a long way to get from A to B without an aircraft. And I don't think in an island type economy one can sit back and rely on somebody else to do that for you. You have seen various airline operators come in and out of this island and at a different time decide to no longer operate. We cannot afford that in Mauritius, and therefore we need a solid, strong, clean-cut, respected airline like Air Mauritius to continue operating. But I stand by the point, it's not for governments to bail out national airlines. I believe they should support them, underpin them, and put it into an economic context that makes sense.
Okay, and we know that Air Mauritius has made a hedging operation that has been led it to some difficulties, main difficulties financially. What do you think about this kind of operation, of hedging operation?
In aviation, where the fuel cost to the operation is anywhere between, and depending on a moment in time, 25 and 40%, it's a massive number. Therefore, it's common practice to hedge. There's nothing unusual about it. Airlines all around the world do it and have done it for a long time. Hedging is usually, it is well calculated, it's thought through, and is an insurance type discipline. It's not a gambling discipline. However, nobody on this earth would have thought what would have happened last year would have happened. Fuel price dropping, you know, from around 60 or going from $60 odd a barrel to 147, and then down to under 40 in a short period of time. That is not normal. There's nothing natural about that. The world has not seen it. The world does not understand it. So it's not only Air Mauritius that has a challenge with the hedging that has not been to their advantage. There are many, many airlines, and they are still carrying it today. It's not. So we will move through this phase, but you know, some people believe fuel would have gone to $200 a barrel. If it had, you would have had a lot of euros here.
Okay, and what do you think Air Mauritius should do to get out of this difficult time?
I think what they're doing now is spot on. I think they're being responsible and they're doing the right thing. The leadership and the management made a decision to look at a number of issues, but the two that stand out, and in history I think these will always stand out. One is capacity. With the lower demand is to try and see how do we match the aircraft and the number of seats to the demand. It's very difficult. It's not like car rental where you can just park a few cars, okay? But they look at that. And secondly is being cost conscious. at all. Air Mauritius is an extremely safe operation, with a magnificent record, and we know that and airlines generally, the IATA airlines, never even consider anything that's risky. But they've got to be cost conscious, and they have to invite all other players to be cost conscious. The airports, the air navigation service providers, labour has to be very responsible. This is a one-team thing now. This is a global crisis. These numbers of losses are not just in one place. It is everywhere. Nobody has escaped this trauma. So I think they are doing the right thing. They are focusing. They are disciplined, and it relates to capacity, being cost conscious, and ensuring all the other stakeholders, whether it be labour, whether it be technology suppliers, whether it be the airports, whether it be service providers, are playing the game and trying to assist in more on a cost recovery basis than trying to make massive profits at the cost of the airline and you, the passenger.
Okay, you were talking about cutting costs, but what about the security aspect and what about the environmental aspect?
You'll see an interesting link between the environment and cost conscious. If people fly like Emirates do, more modern aircraft with better engines, and they fly in a very responsible manner, there are various ways of flying the same aircraft. What they are doing is indirectly, by saving those costs, and they've done some magnificent moves, and I think Emirates will tell you more. At some stage they took certain totally irrelevant pieces of there were hard bars at the seat of for footrests in economy class, which have no value at all. But you can save thousands and thousands of dollars by not having that. You don't order it with your plane. Air Mauritius took those steps, but at the same time you're using less fuel, you're more efficient, you're effective. So the environment gets a completely far better opportunity as well to be protected through those. So it's all linked together. Security, you ask, I don't think it's even a question. It's always top of the list. And because of the players like Air Mauritius, they're now IATA registered. IATA is the ultimate measure of security. It's over 900-point checklist, and you have to pass every one. If you miss one, you don't pass. Air Mauritius is a leader in that environment. But not only that, in Africa, we've had so much success that last year we didn't have one fatal accident on IATA airlines. It's amazing after having rather checkered history. The history wasn't that pretty. So it shows everybody's doing the right thing. It's safe, it's secure, and we're very proud of Air Mauritius and of many of the African airlines.
Okay. At Le Bourget in France, the CEOs of Boeing and Airbus said that they think there should be a strong recovery next year. Do you think so also?
From their lips to God's ears. I personally think that those are very competent people, and they do have a certain look at things. They look at forward orders and so on. From my perspective, it's the first time the world has been in this particular situation. If you just take last year, erratic fuel price, global meltdown, coming into this year, H1N1 virus, with still remembering the SARS virus of a few years ago, all this together, I would not be comfortable to say, yes, I guarantee an upside. But I do believe that it has leveled out. We are seeing a leveling out, not an improvement. When the improvement will come, it will definitely come. But it's not in the very near future, and I would be very hesitant to take a guess at exactly which month or which quarter it's going to happen. It will happen. And the sooner it happens, and as I say, from their lips to God's ears, the sooner it happens, the better. But it's not a walk in the park.